National Guard have been called up to come into Seattle. 75 have been deployed to Seattle tonight, the other 120.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
Hello everyone. Listen, this is Alfred Johnson coming to present to you again. Beautiful. It's a beautiful season that we're in. At this current time, the election is tomorrow. Right here, this is November 2nd that this is going out. The general elections are tomorrow, literally. And we're going to discover who is going to be the next president, as well as how the House of Representatives is going to look and how the Senate is going to look. And of course, we have a bunch of local races that are going on. But of course, most people are focused on the national right now. We're focused on the House, we're focused on the Senate, and then the big one, we're focused on the presidency. And so hey, tomorrow will come and tomorrow will go, and we will have either Trump returning as the president, or we'll have Biden coming in as the new president. It's going to be one of the two. Now, I want to just be able to talk to you a little bit about the hereafter, what happens after the election. Listen, family, it's just like this. One way or another, one of these two is going to win the office. It's just that plain and simple. And it's going to be by election. It's going to be by election. We as a free people are about to elect who is going to be the next president, the next 4 years, okay? And it's just the way it is. This is a free society. It's the beauty of it. And for that reason, you shouldn't be, don't be so angry with things. You have fellow citizens out here. We're not all thinking the same way. We don't have the same opinions. Don't get so upset. Of course, if we lose, the one that we want to win, of course, is going to be a natural disappointment. But don't let it grieve you too much. It was done in a democratic process where the people actually voted. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And it was a transfer of power that's based on votes and not weaponry, not on anything like that. It's peaceful. It's beautiful. This is the United States of America, and it's beautiful. And so, however it ends up, everyone, we should be ready for just a smooth transfer. We should be ready to cooperate with each other as much as possible, move forward. And and enjoy. We're in the greatest country in the history of mankind. Enjoy. Furthermore, I can also tell you this. Again, I'm coming here and I'm speaking primarily to the black race and to the brown. That's why we send out these broadcasts. But of course, our white brothers and sisters can also listen. And but as it concerns my black brothers and sisters, it's going to be a good percentage of you if it happens to be that Biden does lose, which I believe that he will. But if he does, if he loses, look, the big question to ask is, what's going to happen to you? I mean, what are you going to lose if Biden loses? I mean, all of us got a pay raise simply because gasoline is so cheap, because Trump made us a number one energy producer and a powerful exporter in the world. And so you're at least going to have low oil prices because the president's going to continue to lead. He's going to continue to help us to lead in terms of energy, fracking and general oil drilling and natural gas and things of the sort. The least that's going to happen in your pocket in this regard is you're going to keep some more money in your pocket. You don't have to worry about the gas prices going up to $3-4 a gallon because you brought somebody in office who was going to be coming against oil and fracking, trying to head in the direction of the green, but it's going to come at a cost. You have to realize that. Well, I mean, what else is going to happen to you? Under Trump, before COVID hit, black unemployment was at its lowest in the history of our country. It was at its lowest. And yes, my friends, that happened because of Trump's policies, Trump's particular policies. Okay? No president has hit the unemployment, the low unemployment numbers that Trump did. Not Obama, not Bush. Okay, it was Trump. Trump had the lowest unemployment rate for blacks in the history of our country, the lowest unemployment rate for Hispanics in the history of our country, the lowest unemployment for the Asians in the history of our country, for people who didn't graduate from high school, for people who merely had a high school diploma, and then for women, a 50-year low in the unemployment rate. This is beautiful. The least you're going to have is a job. You're going to be working. I mean, is that going to be a big problem for everybody, that you're going to actually have a job, you're going to be working? Somebody came to me recently, or maybe I even heard it on Facebook somewhere, where they mentioned how, Trump is signing a bill that's going to be taking 700,000 people off of the food program, food assistance. And that's a bad thing, they argue. There's going to be 700,000 people, or $700,000 dollars worth of people, that are going to be off the food program. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, but you got to at least read the whole thing before you make it doomsday. Number one, for mothers who have children, it doesn't include you. This is for single people. This is for single people who would need to qualify for the food program. Now, I'm telling you right now, I don't even think single people should be on a EBT or the food program. What are you doing on a food program? Go get a job. You get a job. How are you on food stamps? It doesn't make a lick of sense. But even, let me tell you how this works anyhow. That's 700,000 people that are more than likely going to be cut. Listen to me. Let me tell you how this works. It's not that the president is coming against that program, okay? He's modifying it based on a budget. You do understand that whenever there's a budget surplus or the unemployment rate drops to a certain level, if the people are actually working, you can start reallocating funds. If you're dealing with a low unemployment rate, which, by the way, it was very low before COVID hit. When that law was being signed, this was like in November. This was before we made major changes in January, February, March, April, May. Before the economy was shut down, Trump was looking to reduce the amount of money that was spent on food programs, especially for single people. All right? Yeah, no, why was he able to do it? The budget. The budget, everyone. Listen, I'm also an executive in my organization. If it happens to be that this year, let's imagine we wanted to pay off debt. So it doesn't matter whether it's debt to the IRS or just debt from other loans that we receive, whatever it might be. We might this year and the next year want to pay a certain amount of money on the debt liabilities, okay? And so we pay. At the end of the 2 years, it becomes very clear that we have that debt so well managed that we don't have to spend so much per year, and we can reallocate some of those funds to something else. Now, if you were going to use the media's way of communicating, you would end up saying something like this: when I reduce the amount of money I'm going to spend on my debt, the media would say something like, Alfred Johnson determines that he's not going to be, reducing his debt by the same percentage that he was before. Does he value being debt free? Does he value paying off his debts for him to cut so much money on debt payments? Yeah, but then that's what the media would do. That's the same kind of scenario of what they do right now with Trump and the 700,000 that'll be removed off of the food program. And that's just so completely dishonest. The reason why I would cut my debt payments is because the debt payments are more manageable. I've already paid a good deal on them, and now they'd be more manageable. So now I can reallocate funds to take care of some other high priorities or even mid-level priorities because the other one is manageable. In our country, if the unemployment rate is very low, country's doing well, the income of people is rising, which was happening in November. When that occurs, you are now able to reallocate funds. Those single people are now working. When you have the blacks experiencing the lowest unemployment rate in the history of our country, that means that the blacks are working, which means that they're going to be able to go ahead and take care of their own food. Therefore, you can reallocate some of those funds that were used for food stamps on something else. Now, is that not simple enough, everybody? So the least that's going to occur is that we're going to be working, nation's going to be prosperous, We're going to grow. Listen, those are the Democrat states that are right now remaining closed because of COVID. They will be opening back up. All right. The unemployment again is going to drop. It's absolutely amazing things. That's the least that's going to occur. That's the least that's going to happen. That your jobs are going to be good. The price of energy is going to remain low. These things are going to continue. Law and order and the support for the police is going to continue under this president. You can guarantee that the communities are going to be safe because the president has a major focus on law and order. Folks, it's just the way it is. And if there is any kind of big social strife, yes, he's going to strengthen the police. Yes, he's going to call in National Guard. He'll do all of that. To make certain that we're maintaining law and order in our communities. That's the least of what's going to be taking place. There's not going to be anything damaging to the black community or the brown community that's going to occur as the result of Trump winning the presidency. So you can go ahead and chill out. I mean, what's the problem? You're not going to have a problem. By the way, what big problems have you had over this 4 years apart from the media irritating you? What problems have you had? The unemployment rate has dropped. Your family has more money. And your gas prices are much lower. How in the world are you suffering under a Trump administration? Huh? How are you suffering? Listen, the least that's about to happen is you're going to remain wealthier. The employment's going to continue. Your family's going to be just fine. That's what's about to happen. Family, no need to be upset. Listen, no need to be upset. Of course, you might be disappointed because you've been told a bunch of lies concerning the president, but nonetheless, your disappointment is not going to translate into harm to you, just like it hasn't over the last 4 years. And by the way, if it wasn't for COVID hitting and drastic actions having to be taken to protect the country, oh my goodness. Folks, we were rolling forward in a very powerful way. And so listen, you have nothing to lose with Trump. You have nothing to lose. You haven't lost anything as of yet, and you won't lose anything in the next 4 years. I argue that the opportunities are going to continue to flourish as trade policies are constantly reanalyzed and Trump ensuring that manufacturing and things of this sort continue to grow in our country. And by the way, when you bring the manufacturing back onto the American shores, man, it opens up opportunity for black businesses to get in line to go ahead and fill some gaps in product delivery and things of this sort, and then hiring new staff. All these things are going to occur as the president moves forward and continues with his plan. Now, I can tell you who's probably going to be affected more than anything else are those of us who are conservatives. Now, don't get me wrong. As you can see, the conservatives are not the ones that are burning down cities and stuff like that. It's just not what we do. But what we don't want to happen to us is for the government to operate outside of its constitutional boundaries and start declaring these unilateral edicts to free people. The Constitution was meant to constrain the federal government. Our federal Constitution was meant to constrain them, give them certain responsibilities within a frame or within a given paradigm, and they are expected to operate within that. And when they operate outside of that, they are no longer in their domain. They have hopped onto the property of the free citizens, sovereign citizens. And so we're the ones that have the greatest concern, our gun rights being attacked. No, they see that becomes that's a great issue with us. That's quite huge. We're also dealing with the willingness for the other party to redefine family and try to force churches to perform weddings for people that are not engaged in traditional marriages. See, we're the ones that would have major things thrust upon us if it happens to be that Biden wins. Not to mention you as well, okay? Because the price of energy is going to go back up again. The trade policies that we have with China, expect those things to be reenacted. The Iranian policies that we have to weaken Iran in the Middle East so that there can be some peace, expect that to be reversed. Also, there will be, Biden mentioned that he's going to be increasing immigration by 700%. And by the way, he also mentioned that he's going to, that ban that the president has against let's just say terrorists coming from terrorist nations, densely populated terrorist nations. Right now, there's a ban on them coming into our country. Well, Biden mentioned, folks, I'm not giving you an opinion. You can look it up on your phone. This stuff is so easy. You can look it up and hear it from his own mouth. He's going to X out Trump's protection of our country. And he's going to allow these people to come in. He's gonna argue about the southern border. Anticipate cheap labor coming across the border, making it more difficult for blacks to get the jobs that we should have, the black Americans that we should have. Expect the unemployment rate, therefore, to correspondingly go upward as people are able to move freely across the southern border. Okay, you're going to have to expect all of this. So really, those of you, if Trump wins, especially again, if you're black, you lose nothing. Hispanics, you've lost nothing, especially those of you that are coming from Central America and like Cuba. I mean, you don't have anything to lose. Matter of fact, you know that it's important that Trump gets into office. Where they're coming from, in case everyone's wondering, our Cuban family, these folks have come from a communist country. They've seen socialism and communism devastate their country. They watched it with their own eyes. Okay, they have a keen interest in Trump remaining president of the United States to keep socialism and communism at bay. And the president right now is the only one doing that. The Democrat Party is not interested in that. And those of you that don't know that, I'm afraid to say, but you need to get some more studying in, because they're making it obvious now. You know, when I was younger, they did it in secret. We knew that they were doing it. We were telling people that they were doing it, but they kept it on the down low. Now these folks they're saying it straight out. They're saying it outright. Matter of fact, Harris just recently, the one who's running for vice president, just recently said that unless there's an equality of outcome and how much money we make and what we're able to spend and purchase, unless there's an equality of outcome, then there's an inherent inequality in how people are having wealth distributed to them. Well, of course there's going to be an inequality. This is the free market. And if you're looking for equality of outcome, you're a communist. It's just the way it is, everybody. There's no such thing as an equality of outcome when you're dealing with free markets. The only way you're going to get the equality of outcome is if you have a government strong enough to make it happen. That's socialistic, communistic. All right? And so the Cubans aren't hearing that. They know where they just come from. People coming from Central America and South America, they're not hearing that. They're watching socialism and communism devastate their countries. Right now, Venezuela, do y'all know that they were at one time, I'm talking about just 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, they were one of the richest nations in South America. Not only that, one of the richest natural resource countries in the world. And now look at them, a brief stint with socialism / communism, and you're looking at a devastated country. So people coming from Cuba and from South America are experiencing liberty, and they don't want to give it up. It's going to be tough for Biden to win Florida. The Cubans that are down south aren't having it. They heard that message of socialism and communism before, and they're going to defend themselves against it by voting for Trump tomorrow. Tomorrow might not be a good day for Biden here in the state of Florida as it concerns the elections. But hey, either way, everybody, Trump, listen, well, I believe that Trump's going to win. I believe it's going to be a landslide. But even if it isn't, if Biden wins, I need to let you, my fellow Americans, know I love you. We're in this together. It's just fine. We'll survive. America will survive. God granting us grace. We're going to have to take a few more hits. And there might be some assaults on liberty, and some of us patriots, some of the patriots might push back against the government trying to encroach upon our natural rights, our constitutional rights, true constitutional rights. And but nonetheless, the country will survive, okay? I love you all. You all love each other, okay? Hey, don't be hostile. If you lose, be disappointed. Matter of fact, be upset. But hey, don't hurt anybody. You go ahead and compose yourself, control yourself. And we'll all get through all this, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. This is the United States of America. It's the best place on the planet, and we ought to love one another. God bless you now, everyone. Until our next episode. Hey, share this with somebody. I love you now. We'll talk to you.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.